They don't just want data, they want insights and action. AI is not replacing the human touch. What McKinsey and BCG might uncover in weeks, Entromy delivers in days.
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Prompt, and I'm your host, Sunny. This is a show where we go deeper than just the hype, where we go beyond just the prompt. On the podcast, I'm talking with product, engineering, and go-to-market leaders who are building AI-native products and using AI to supercharge how their teams operate. If you're looking to scale your business with AI or want to learn from those doing it at the frontier, then you're at the right place. Be sure to stick around for this great conversation with Kara at Entromy. And if you're interested in a free consultation on how to maximize the usage of AI for your teams, then click on the link in the description below to schedule time with me. Kara, thank you so much for joining me. I'd love for you to just start with sharing a bit about Entromy and the problem it solves and why you're so excited about it.
Yeah. So Entromy helps leadership teams in private equity-backed organizations quickly get to the truth of what's happening inside their companies. So in a world where leaders are constantly navigating integrations, scaling challenges, and strategic pivots, Entromy gives them a fast, unfiltered read on organizational health, surfacing blind spots, risks, alignment gaps that traditional surveys or consultant interviews often miss. So it's exciting. It's an exciting space because executives, they don't just want data, they want insights and action. What McKinsey and BCG might uncover in weeks, Entromy delivers in days through AI native platforms. And Bain recently released a report emphasizing that organizational clarity is one of the most under-leveraged drivers of deal success. And we're filling that gap with speed, precision, and usability. So for our clients, it's not just an employee engagement, it's an enterprise performance intelligence platform.
Wow, that sounds, like really, really awesome. I'm super curious to learn more about the AI applications that you're doing. Like, how are you applying AI? So I definitely would want to learn more about that.
Yeah. So Entromy's AI, it's not just a bolt-on feature. It's a foundational way in which our platform is providing a different level of insights all the way across the client lifecycle. So from the moment feedback is collected in our system, our models start analyzing that open text input in real time. It'll distill thousands of comments into themes like trust in leadership, communication breakdowns, readiness for change. That same AI then builds board-ready reports, complete with narrative summaries and action-oriented recommendation, and it learns and updates with each new input, adapting to the changes in leadership structure, strategy, or culture. And so this continuous learning loop means that our insights stay relevant and it's not just reactive. We often hear from our clients that they don't want any more dashboards. They want direction. And Entromy gives them that because while most platforms will stop at the sentiment or lagging indicators, we're offering predictive tailored insights that are tied directly to value creation metrics or strategic objectives, which is a huge leap from the industry status quo. So because AI powers every part of the workflow, from the data collection to the reporting, our clients are getting faster insights within days, not just weeks, smarter predictions, so it's flagging risks months in advance, and more of a business-focused narrative that ties directly back to their strategic or financial goals.
Gotcha. Can you tell me a bit more about how you're playing AI on the data collection piece and that part of it? And then we could talk about on the other side as well. But I'd love to start on the beginning.
The AI data collection it's essentially a survey participant receives a link. They open up the survey. It's a set of standard questions that we use again and again and again. Because imagine if you had 700 plus PE-backed organizations running with the same set of questions, you're going to be able to produce a set of benchmarks. And in addition to the benchmarking, the AI piece or the AI native feature about the Entromy platform is it's taking that sentiment or the quantitative and qualitative data, marrying it so that we can actually give you actionable recommendations that are tailored to your organization. So right now, I could go in and run a survey within Entromy and probably dump it into ChatGPT and ask Chat to give me a set of recommendations. But most of the time, the recommendations are going to be like too generic, too high level, primarily because there's thousands of sentiment or comments that would have to be plugged into the system again and again and again for it to analyze and give you that level of granularity in your report. And we found a way to model our AI in such a way that it's not just learning from your survey that your organization is running, it's also learning from every other organization that's running in our platform simultaneously or even in the past.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so like using all of the data, not just from one client, but across all clients, and being able to use all of that data to, give that like really benchmark data across everybody in your platform.
Yeah, because think about it, most companies have the same problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some specificity, right, and uniqueness or nuance based on the industry or sub-industry, but we find that there's 3 key categories that most organizations score the lowest in. It's usually around performance management, capabilities, and communication. When I say capabilities, I mean onboarding and training. And so like think back to every organization you've ever worked for and reflect on what it was like to be onboarded. And there was probably some major gaps. And typically speaking, organizations will spend the least amount of time in that area because, well, frankly, there's other stuff to prioritize. There's bigger fish to fry. It's sales, it's driving sales, it's the go-to-market strategy, it's marketing itself. And so, it takes a toll on your employee population when they don't feel like they're equipped to do their job well. And what's interesting for us is that while our system is collecting all of this data, and I have to emphasize the fact that it is anonymous and confidential, it's not like I could see your company's responses in my deck or my report. All I'm trying to get at is that the AI is learning. It's learning. It's learning from every organization that's ever ran in our platform. It's learning about your organization and the multiple surveys that you might be running. So it gets even better when you run year over year. If you ran a survey in 2024 and collected all of that sentiment and data, and you run again in 2025 so that you can compare 24 with 25, you're really going to get far more robust recommendations because you're teaching our AI model about your organization specifically.
Yeah. Tell me more about like the kind of like recommendations that you're giving to the executives based on like the survey. How are you applying AI in that space? I'd love to learn more in that area.
Yeah. So each customer is different. And I also want to emphasize the fact that we're not consultants. Mm-hmm. I would say that we kind of dabble between being a true SaaS company and a consulting firm. But we really just want to be a SaaS company. Leave the consulting to the experts, right? But with that said, as I mentioned, if you've worked at Entromy long enough, you pick up pretty quickly on key themes that are running across multiple organizations and in multiple industries. And we do have AI to thank for that in a lot of ways because I essentially could pull an action plan for a specific company that was built from the survey responses itself and compare it with another company, and I'm going to see synergy, but the recommendations are very much tailored to the executive team. It's also tailored to the people leaders. So envision this. you've ran a survey in our platform and you're a CHRO. You're responsible for disseminating this information to various levels of leadership at the company. So not just the C-suites, but it could be like 2 or 3 layers down into the leadership teams. We can actually create action plans by filtering on a department, filtering on a manager's scores and responses. So while we can have this overarching level of recommendations at the executive level or the company level, you can actually filter down into the reports in such a way where you can build out an action plan that's exclusive or specific to a team or a manager, which I think's frankly genius, because my issues, while my issues impact the company as a whole in terms of my CS team, they're very much things that are unique to my function.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm working with the leadership team to, execute on a set of actions that will benefit our strategic goals in the long run at the parent level, like at the company level, I think it's a beautiful thing having that at my fingertips, and I don't have to sit here and try to come up with these things from scratch and then go back to my team and say, guys, I got the results from our survey. There's some areas where we have an opportunity to work on things, but I need to understand more. We're asking those open-ended questions because we're trying to understand up front in lieu of us going one by one or having almost like group sessions where we're brainstorming the why behind some of the survey responses we got.
Yeah. And like now you have AI that can kind of give you this kind of like recommended next steps at a company level, but then like at a team level, at a department level, and like tailored for like the responses that matter to you, right?
Yeah, that's relevant to your team or your function.
Yeah, because previously, like maybe the team or HR had it like a company-wide level, but not like, oh, my specific team in this one department. Like they may not.
So
time to do that.
100%. Back in the day, HR teams were responsible for pulling in people leaders into like individual meetings or maybe group sessions where they're almost doing coaching and mentoring. Like, okay, guys, here's your results. Let's talk about what are some things that we can do to improve operations, or improve hiring, or improve onboarding, or improve our communication. And it's just this long, arduous process. And frankly, there was no real indicator as to whether or not that specific 2 or 3 things that you were going to focus on mattered. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this really going to move the needle on anything? Whereas using AI and using that qualitative and quantitative data from our platform, it's going to get down to the nitty-gritty of like, these are the 3 or 4 things you must focus on in this next quarter or over the next 6 to 8 months. But it has to make sense, right? Because like maybe everybody's crying about not having a director of product, or maybe they're upset because there's just not enough developers to help push the product forward. That doesn't necessarily mean that the company has the capital to move forward despite that the employee sentiment is such. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And then remind me again, who are your kind of typical like customers that you have?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's a difficult question for us to answer, if I'm being honest. And the reason why is we serve 3 different personas. So PE firms themselves will come to us because they're looking to overhaul their portfolio from an organizational health standpoint. The portcos might reach out to us directly and say, I heard from Susan Smith over here at ABC company and they loved Entromy. I want to learn more. And then we have our consulting partners where it gets kind of interesting because I mentioned earlier that what McKinsey and BCG might not be able to uncover, or what McKinsey and BCG might uncover in weeks, Entromy can deliver in days.
Yeah.
The consultant piece is really interesting because we're essentially creating a low lift for them.
Yeah.
Because it's true, like companies will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire a consultant to spend weeks or even months with various leadership teams to get down to the problems and then offer up solutions to those problems. But what if leveraging our technology as part of their consultant package can deliver on that a whole heck of a lot faster at a fraction of the price?
Yeah. So the people that was previously doing it in weeks are now able to do it in days with you, and also use it as part of their package and offering to
That's right.
clients. That's awesome.
That's right.
That's awesome. Any other kind of like AI features or pieces that you want to share that Entromy is doing in terms of like the product?
Yeah, let me think. I mean, there's a lot on the horizon, you know.
Anything you can share publicly, and totally okay if the answer is no.
Well, it's we're working on. I actually can share this. We are working on what we call a PE dashboard. Okay. So, envision that you're a PE firm and you have an enterprise license with Entromy. You're running the Entromy solution across your entire portfolio. Wouldn't it be nice to know at a glance which 3 or 4 portfolio companies need, or at the highest risk, need the most support, and to be able to turn that around quickly? So essentially, it makes it really difficult. Like, private equity is such a fast pace. I mean, you want to talk about, everybody talks about this is a fast-paced environment, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but nothing can compete with private equity. Yeah. Nothing. Because it's like if you're 2 weeks behind, you might as well be a year behind, right? So when they're working with these portfolio companies, they need to understand months or quarters in advance the level of risk in a wide variety of areas. They're obviously focused primarily on EBITDA, value creation, and building a strong senior leadership team in most cases. But they need to know about this like yesterday. So this PE dashboard is something new that we have not launched yet. We've kind of floated it out there from a teaser perspective, and people are really latching onto it because it's just so difficult to see portfolio-wide what's happening and really be able to pinpoint those organizations that PE firms need to put the majority of their focus or energy into in lieu of just having teams within the PE firm focusing on individual portcos. You know what I mean? Like, so they'll tend to break it up by fund or by sector. Like, they'll have a team of maybe 7 or 8 people from a talent operating side, and they will break it up. Like, you're going to get 3, I'm going to get 3, you know, John Doe's going to get 3. But now it's more intentional, more focus. And maybe we need to just look at these 4 or 5 organizations in lieu of everybody all at once.
Yeah. And then I guess just to clarify for the listeners, is Portco portfolio companies?
It is.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so accustomed to using the acronyms.
No
yeah.
worries.
Portco equals portfolio company. Yeah.
No worries. We refer at House Call Pro, the company I work for full time, we refer to our users as pros. And oftentimes when I'm on a call with somebody that's not at the company, we keep using the word pro, and I'm like, oh wait, like let me clarify like what pro means. And pro are our users. We call them pros because we call our users like the full term home service professionals, and pro is just like a nice short term, and so we call our users pros. But not everybody.
Isn't it interesting? Yeah, isn't it interesting when you join organizations, you almost have to be, it's like I need a glossary. Yeah. I need a glossary so that I can understand all the acronyms and the terminology that's used, because that's part of the learning curve. Totally.
Well, transitioning away from Entromy's usage of AI within the products, I'm super curious around sort of like the tools and products that, you know, use AI that you use in your kind of day-to-day work to, move faster in your teams and in your role?
Yeah, this is actually my favorite part.
Awesome. I'm excited.
So as a lean CS team, we've had to be scrappy and smart, and AI has helped us level up our impact. We're using Momentum to summarize hours of gong calls, so our CSMs don't have to scroll through transcripts to prep for renewals or track client sentiment. It just saves us a ton of time and improves our account management or account planning. Gamma AI, we can spin up a training deck or product update slides in half the time. We've recently built a VCP report guide and a survey strategy toolkit in less than an hour. I recently came across a tool called Superhuman, and we obviously use Intercom or Intercom Copilot to help our teams triage support requests and knowledge sharing. So we're in the middle of updating our knowledge base, like we're doing a complete overhaul. And AI is helping to flag duplicate content, outdated process steps, and even suggest consolidation. And it also drafts our support ticket responses for us. We've introduced Scribe and Murph. I don't know if you've heard of Murph. That's also a new favorite of mine. That's helping us from a documentation of our internal workflows, onboarding playbooks, survey setup guides for our teams, especially helpful because we're preparing to transition from our back-end process in Salesforce to Jira. So it's really not just about saving time. It's more about reducing the cognitive overload. It's giving our teams the space to focus on strategic client conversations instead of low leverage tasks. Like, I speak to so many CS leaders, and I can't even begin to tell you how big of a pain point this is for many of us, not just the leaders themselves, but our teams. And AI is not replacing the human touch. It really and truly is amplifying it and helping a small but mighty CS team punch above its weight, I believe.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I definitely think like the high touch kind of like, well, actually what AI is really doing is allowing your current team to be able to serve more and be more high touch for the ones that really need the help. Because 100%, like, there are definitely more people that need like that high touch help than that are probably coming to you right now. And if you can like find those people and give that high touch, like human touch, it's super powerful. And like AI is helping do that for sure, 100%. Mm-hmm. For Intercom, like, I'm curious, are you talked about like helping draft the messages. Are you also like leveraging Fin and like having AI answer some of those messages as well?
I have not. So I haven't dealt with that yet.
Yeah.
I've read about it. It's kind of like we're taking baby steps, right? Intercom has been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
We've got a good handle on what it can do in terms of housing our knowledge articles, ensuring that there's consistency across the board. We're tracking our support tickets, but I don't think it was until they had, I guess, built in the Copilot functionality that we began to visualize where this could lead us. Yeah. And so I think that's a natural progression for us. And I'm definitely excited to see what a lot of these other SaaS platforms that we use as part of our tech stack are doing to just help us be more efficient and effective. Yeah. For me, it's not just also efficiency and effectiveness. It's about consistency in the messaging. So it's easy for small organizations like ourselves to act as like almost like little subsidiaries. So, it's kind of like if you're an agent for State Farm, you could be your own agent, have your own State Farm, organization under the parent company. But I don't want my CSMs going rogue and just, like they're going to be doing their best, obviously. They're smart individuals, but I'd rather make sure that everyone is experiencing the same level of service and support, because we often transfer accounts. People come and go. Yeah. They seek out other opportunities, and we're bringing new hires in, and those folks are taking over existing accounts. And I want them, when they meet that new CSM, to have that same solid experience, like repetitive. It's kind of like when you go through Chick-fil-A, you know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? Every single time I place an order, I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm curious, like your primary customer that's in the SaaS tool is like the PE firm, and so maybe there's a sense of like, like the volume of requests that you're having is not as massive as
right.
as like where like every single person that's using that touches the platform is using it. So like not all the individual users are interfacing with the platform that are creating these support requests with Intercom, right? And so like you are comfortable with like the volume that's coming in and still having like your CSMs handling the support tickets with like the co-pilot help is what it sounds like, right?
So we actually we rolled out a CS support implementation specialist role here at Entromy. And that individual oversees our support requests. You're not wrong, but there's actually more to it. So while we focus on PE, it's not the PE firms that are actually going into the platform. We'd like them to be going into the platform more than they actually are, but we truly are. It's almost like we're selling it to the PE firm, who then introduces us to their portfolio companies. Yeah. And the portfolio companies are generally the ones that sell to again, and they're the primary users of the platform.
Right.
And that's of course if we have an enterprise license, then the PE firm is paying for this platform to be used across the entire portfolio. So it's kind of a mixed bag. It's like the ideal state is we sell to the PE firm, they mandate it across their entire portfolio, and we get the portcos involved and we get them in the platform. We build the adoption and education around that with them, and they can choose to use it however they'd like. What I mean by that is it's not like you can't run other types of surveys in our system. Like ideally they're running an organizational health diagnostic. That's like our bread and butter, but it is still a survey platform. So in theory, you can run exit onboarding surveys, CSAT surveys for your customers to find out, whether or not they like the service or the products. You can do pulse surveys. There's a number of things you can do, and they might have other functions or departments that would like to run their own surveys on just their subset of employees. So it has all kinds of potential to expand across an entire organization or just be leveraged for that org health diagnostic.
Gotcha. So we touched, on Intercom a good bit. I'm curious, like, what do you think is your favorite tool for sure? Your favorite AI tool?
Favorite tool? It's got to be Momentum right now. I'm on a Momentum kick.
Tell me more. I don't know what Momentum is actually.
Yeah, so Momentum, I can't sell Momentum. Forgive me, Momentum, for not being able to sell you right now. But I'm telling you, everybody needs to try you out. What sold me was a recent conversation I had with my account executive, and he's like, look, what we're doing is in Slack, it is capturing maybe all the sales calls for the week, and it is providing the executive team with a summary of what's going on in those sales conversations at a high level.
Yeah. But
right now we're trying to find ways to automate. So Salesforce and Slack and Momentum can all connect. There's integration between the three of them. So in lieu of me going into Salesforce right now and making updates to maybe the account notes, or I'm changing the churn risk for an account, or I am updating when the survey is going to launch because we got a new date from our client, I can actually go into Slack through Momentum and make those changes to Salesforce outside of the Salesforce platform. It just integrates, it just sends that information over. So, again, like everybody's got probably a pretty hefty tech stack, right? Like everybody's using at least on the average, I'd say 3 or 4 tools, if not more, every single day.
Yeah.
And the context switching is a nightmare. It's like, okay, I got to remember how to use this platform, and then I'm going to go over here to use this platform to get this information. And Momentum's really just consolidating that for us. I can actually put a prompt in Slack and ask Momentum to give me the key takeaways from the last 3 calls I had with client XYZ. And it can populate that for me, which is critical when we're talking about renewal strategies or even like success plans from a CS perspective. Or maybe, my CEO is interested in understanding more about what's happening in a portfolio for a PE firm because he wants to go back and have a conversation with that PE firm.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go through hundreds of notes for 20 different portfolio companies in Salesforce. I can just use a prompt through Momentum and Slack and get all that information within a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So like directly from Slack, you can access all of that information. But you also said that part of it also is like grabbing all of that information, putting, it sounds like they're just connecting to all of it, but you can like access all of it through Slack. And it sounds like update it as well.
Yeah.
And update it?
Yeah.
Wow. I assume with like some user permissions, it's like, oh, well, if you don't have access.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's like, oh, if you don't have access to like, right here to Salesforce, like you're not able to do it. Like the engineer, for example, can't just like update a sales note on Salesforce. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So just follow the permissioning that's like in place already.
Correct. And you can also create tasks for yourself too. So like Momentum will summarize a call. It'll pull out testimonials.
Yeah.
Like, look, we have to ask our customers if we can use that outside of the organization. But at the end of the day, everybody needs a morale boost, right? Like we all need to know that our work matters and it's making an impact. And sometimes just getting that Momentum sentiment pulled out of these gong calls and shared broadly across the organization is just the pickup we need.
Totally. That definitely sounds awesome. And like, I think the website, I pulled it up, is momentum.io, just so that people can check it out. I want to make sure I
wholeheartedly
put the website out there so that people can find it. Momentum.io for everybody interested, so that people are like, what's the website? You got one? Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, I have a few more questions for you.
Sure.
So I'm curious, where do you think like Entromy will be in like 12 months from now?
Mm-hmm. Very, very good question. So by the end of the year, Entromy will be powering value creation across PE portfolios with AI.
Yeah.
And we want it to truly go beyond just survey reporting. So our goal is to help operating partners identify leadership misalignment or cultural friction 6 months before it affects EBITDA. We're already piloting predictive analytics that will flag risk patterns early and surface high-impact teams, leaders who may need support. So action plans, again, are proactive, not reactive. At the same time, we're building AI agents that will automatically generate LP-ready narratives. And for the folks that don't know much about the PE space, LPs are your investors. So your investors essentially make up the private equity firm itself.
Yeah.
So it's going to automatically generate LP-ready narratives, board slides, and exit value stories, saving firms like 20 plus hours per deal. And these reports won't just be fast, they're going to be tailored using that live data and the trends analysis from the portfolio activity so that it can stay relevant.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, though, we're really trying to lay the groundwork for AI-powered stress tests, like tools that will model how economic shifts like inflation and labor shortages could impact talent and culture across the portfolio. So imagine being able to run a scenario and immediately see which functions, leaders, or regions are most vulnerable, and then having Entromy provide you with those next recommended steps. So yeah, that's what's on the horizon. Very exciting times for us, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Well, it sounds exciting. It definitely sounds very exciting. All right. A few closing questions. This one's my favorite one to ask everybody, which is, what are you most proud of and why? And it can be personal or professional.
Yeah. This one is really hard for me too, because I can think of a dozen things, but honestly, I'm most proud of the team that I get to lead every day. Like I said, we're a lean crew, but pound for pound, they are some of the smartest, most driven people I've worked with.
Awesome.
They run fast and they support one another without hesitation, and they don't back down from tough challenges, and they're constantly learning and iterating and just finding ways to make our clients' lives easier. And they often don't even do this without being, I don't have to ask them to do this, you know?
Yeah.
So just watching them balance the strategic thinking and the daily execution and showing up for everybody, including our clients, is what makes me really proud to be in the role that I'm in and supporting my direct reports.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It also is probably, well, one, you probably found a great set of people to like work with, but it also is often a reflection of the leadership of the person in charge, which is yourself, of being able to bring that out from everybody else as well.
I desperately try, but you know, I think I often say that I will always bleed green because Entromy is green, because it has profoundly changed the way I operate as a people leader. Like, yes, I'm an executive and I'm part of a senior leadership team here at Entromy, but if it weren't for me understanding organizational health, understanding the reasons why we ask the same set of questions across 700 plus companies, I don't think I would be in the position that I'm in. So I genuinely think everybody needs Entromy. I don't care if you've got all the answers and you're doing everything right, or you think you're doing everything right. I'll guarantee you there's always opportunities for improvement.
Yeah. So using the platform of Entromy within Entromy, and that has helped you figure out how to improve your team and the organization and everything.
Yeah, be a better leader. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Last question. Where can people find you online if they want to learn more about you and Entromy? And how can the listeners be useful to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you can find more about Entromy by going to www.entromy.com. It's a difficult word, you know, it's an uncommon word. People often mix us up with entropy. No, it's Entromy.
Yeah.
And for me, I try to be present on LinkedIn as much as I possibly can. As you can imagine, we're a small crew and I'm very, very busy, but I do make a concerted effort to post from time to time. So you can feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn just by typing in Kara Whitaker. I don't think there are too many Kara Whitakers out there. So it should be pretty easy to find. And yeah, I mean, I think what I could use from your listeners is, you know, what I would like to learn more about what other people are doing. I'm fascinated with process improvement and efficiency. It's kind of like my side hustle, if you will.
Yeah.
And I love any new piece of technology. I'm a tech junkie. So if anyone has anything that they've been leveraging that they have found is profoundly changed the way they operate in their departments or their functions or even the company as a whole, I'd love to hear more about it, which is why I gravitated to you and your podcast because I think you're really doing a service for everybody by sharing these different tools, not just Entromy, but you're sharing the tools that I'm using on a day-to-day basis outside of the Entromy platform to just be better at my job and make life easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Kara, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Beyond the Prompt. If you enjoyed this discussion, please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes with other leading experts in the AI space. Also, if you could take a moment to rate and review the podcast, it would help me tremendously in reaching more listeners and bringing you more great content. Until next time, keep going beyond the prompt.